The 4x4 truck got some buffs. First off, 0.5 more armor on the front. I think this is a revert of the previous nerf, which I think is good because it did feel a little bit too fragile previously after that nerf. Also got a new ability, Scout Commander, for 50 munitions. First off, we'll go to ticks of zoom out. That's how I usually play. So by default, 37.5 vision. With the upgrade, 47.5, so just shy of 50. Also, while it's stationary, gains a detection ability out to 90 range, which is all the way out here. So it's quite far.
4x4 is ready to roll.
Maybe helping the 4x4 kind of keep pace with the Crud and Kettenkrad and Crudschützen in terms of their recon tools. So you can see I've got, I think, a grenadier here and a machine gun here. And they can now be detected while this is stationary.
Back us up, driver. Carefully.
So like a 4-second delay before it's active. So yeah, I think this is, you know, pretty cool. I think 90 range is like a decent place to start it out. See how it goes. Hopefully it's not too powerful. But yeah, maybe this will cause a rise in the 4x4 usage. Almost completely fell off in the previous patch. And basically wasn't alive outside of using armored with the instant V1 on it anyway. So maybe with this change, players will get it for the scouting tools. Maybe the resupply platform, drop some team weapons with it. Instead of just, yeah, kind of capping with it in the early game. The 75mm M3 has had some buffs. First off, it's had a cost reduction if you're going for Mechanized Support Center and building it straight from the WSC. Second off, its barrage has been overhauled. It's had a range increase up to 70 range. So now it outranges anti-tank guns, so they want you to be able to barrage AT guns with it, not be able to take return fire. On top of that, they've reworked the AoE on the barrage, I believe, to do less damage close to the center of the blast, more damage on the edges, and up the damage cap from 3 to 4, I believe. Not 100% on these changes. So let's see how it goes. I'm going to do this into the fog of war, since it's probably how you will be using it in game. Oh, it gets a lot of elevation on its barrel, doesn't it? So it looks like it still does have a long delay between the first and second shell. And the shells take a long time to land as well. Huge arcing projectile on them. So it gives your opponent plenty of time to dodge if they hear it. A lot of shells. Does it always have this many shells? I can't remember. Usually they kind of went away before you even get the second shot off. But there's a lot of shells if they don't dodge at all. I wonder if this could be decent against bunkers. So now we're going to try it. We've got a bunker over here, max range, and this would outrange like the AT bunker, the new one from Italian Coastal as well. Okay, so about 3/4 of its health gone from a barrage like that. It's not too bad. If you know you need a little bit of extra juice to kill a bunker, for sure. I mean that's solid. If you're able to stand here for as long as it takes to barrage, because that takes a long time. A lot of shells on the barrage, but quite slow rate of fire. The Bazooka Team got some buffs. First off, a reload bonus, making them the same as paratroopers and SSF commandos, and also a aim time reduction. So we'll see how that goes here against this Stug.
Get your ass up! We gotta move!
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Let's move!
Doesn't feel like OP strong. And I'd say if they didn't get that aim time buff with the acceleration from stationary buff that vehicles got this patch, handing out an anti-tank like this would be almost unusable. Now, they did also do one other thing with the anti-tank satchel charge. They moved it from X to Z on the hotkeys, and I can't tell you how much this annoys me. So much. Because every other squad in the game, basically, is the anti-tank grenade on X. The anti-vehicle snare for basically every unit in the game is on X. And it was for bazookas, but now they moved it to Z for some reason. Don't know why. Same story with the new squad, Coastal Reserves. It's on Z instead of being on X. They could just move all of this along, put it on X, and then we'd have hotkey continuity between all factions and all units. Like this, like for me, oh yeah, I'm shaking. I'm so angry about this. Please, guys, please get these snares all on the same hotkey, because like I'm not very good on hotkeys. So having the same abilities on the same hotkeys for everything, very helpful for me. I'm bad at adapting like that. And yeah, just revert this, get it back over here, please. The M1 anti-tank gun ability, armor piercing rounds, got buffed. Now lasts for 5 seconds longer and does plus 25% damage while it's active. It is pretty expensive at 50 munitions, but I think at this stage now it is very much worth it. So this actually changes the shots to kill against things like medium tanks. Usually 4 shots from the AT gun wouldn't actually kill a Panzer IV. Do 640 damage, it has 720 health. So that wouldn't work, but say if we make this enemy, we fire 1 shot, then we activate the AP rounds. Pretty realistic to what would happen in game. Now, 1 shot normal, 3 shots AP, like you can do with the duration that it has, will kill the Panzer IV. So this makes the AT gun a lot more lethal against, you know, 720 health mediums. Makes it way stronger, this ability. Definitely worth activating against things like the Tiger with a guaranteed pin chance. Just as a side note though, does anybody ever use this brace ability? Don't know if I've ever seen it used. It is quite strong. I believe it quarters the amount of damage incoming, but lasts for 15 seconds. You can't move, you can't shoot. It's a long time to be completely immobile. The M1 Mortars Vet 1 ability, Airburst Barrage, got buffed. Bigger AoE and damage cap increased to 5. Should help a lot against machine guns. Notice it actually does have like 5 range more on it than the regular barrage. Probably a bug. See how it goes. Three shots and it's decruised. That's pretty good. Seems like Airburst back on the menu, boys. The M8 Greyhound has a new upgrade called Armored Skirts. For 70 munitions, it gains 120 health. So by default, it has 360. With the Skirts upgrade, you can see it covering the wheels. So, you know, visually as an opponent, you can see it, which is kind of nice. Goes up to 480 health. So it doesn't change its shots to kill against things like anti-tank guns or Jägerschrecks. Just against like 120 damage sources like tanks and stuff. But yeah, I'm not really sure why they did this, because at the moment the Greyhound I think already has a pretty good matchup with most Axis light vehicles, right? Not too imbalanced, but with extra 120 health, now it'll just dominate them. Like the 8 Rad, the 221 with the Panzerbuchse, putting a AT squad inside a 250 and going chasing them down with the extra health. Now the Greyhound I think can like dominate all those matchups. So why would you even go for like a Chaffee? Feels like with this extra health, Greyhound crowds out the Chaffee because you can get pretty much the same-ish anti-light vehicle power, but then you can also dominate infantry. So yeah, I'm not sure why they did this exactly. Feels like this is going to be too good, you know, around that light vehicle timing. The Hellcat has had its reload nerfed by about half a second. The developers say this should cause it to lose the head-to-head just to the Panzer IV, so let's see if this is the case. No armor upgrades, no skirts upgrades, no extra health on this. Yep, as I said. I am a little bit questioning this change, if I'm honest. I didn't really feel like the Hellcat was too strong last patch. They say that you know, they don't want it beating vehicles that it's cost less than. They could have just put the cost up, because if a tank destroyer can't beat a tank, like what are we even doing? At least in Company of Heroes 2, tank destroyers had a 20 range advantage over medium tanks. So you could use that range advantage to kite them. So even if the tank destroyer had a lower rate of fire than the medium, they could use its superior range, maybe get 2 shots on the way in, and then win the fight that way. But yeah, not the case. A Hellcat only has a 5 range advantage over medium tank, and now with this instant acceleration, like how are you gonna exploit a 5 range advantage against your opponent? They're just gonna close that gap immediately. So I'm not really sure about this change. The Bulldozer has received a lot of buffs this patch. Its AoE has been improved, the damage cap has been increased by 1, scatter has been improved, also now it's more likely to overshoot on scatter. They say this should help with targeting, scattering into stationary vehicles a bit more often. So a lot of buffs, cost reduction as well. I thought the Bulldozer was in a perfectly fine spot before this. Oh, and it's got bonus damage against emplacements on its shot as well. I thought it was fine before this. So a little bit strange that they buffed it a tremendous amount. Got a spread out grenadier here. Let's see how it does against them with all these changes. So yeah, it's got a 5 damage cap now instead of 4. So you can see every model, they're very spread out in the open. Every single model, except for the damage cap one, was getting blasted there. So anything that's got like a lower model count, even if it's pretty spread out, is absolutely going to get nuked by this new Bulldozer. There's one thing I would say though, is that, one of the appeals of the old Vet 1 ability, Bunker Busting Barrage, was that it was good against emplacements, right? But now, the regular fire's got the exact same bonuses, and the Bunker Buster, I don't think it's got any extra range. It doesn't seem to have any extra range, like really. And it's got worse, it's got a tiny bit better mid-range AoE, and a little bit better rate of fire, such that you can fire like 1 extra shot in the same time off the barrage. So, I don't know. It feels like now, yeah, the Bunker Buster, by comparison, looks like absolute trash. Like, why are you spending so much munitions on this? So maybe they need to address this as well. One thing I don't think that they've addressed is its ability to do sweep mines with the Dozer Blade. So let's see if I can get this one. It's mine right here. Yeah, hits the mine, still engine damage. So the Dozer Blade can clear obstacles, cannot clear mines. They desperately need to address this. Been in the game for so long, this bug. Fix that, please. A couple of changes to the Airborne Battlegroup. First off, the smoke bombing run has had a cost reduction by 10 munitions, which I think is welcome. 50 munis is pretty expensive, but one of the benefits of this is that, with the flare changes, your opponent doesn't know when you're going to drop smoke, because they can't see like the green flares that came down beforehand. So it is kind of sneaky, the smoke, after, the last round of flare changes. They've also changed the power drop reinforcements, cost reduction by 30 munis. Also reinforces faster now, but the health of the plane decreased, so it will be shot down more easily. This had really fallen out of the meta since all the nerfs, since it got like the number of reinforcements capped. So let's see how it goes here. Got a bunch of guys needing some reinforcement. I mean, the reinforce rate doesn't seem like brokenly fast or anything, so I think this is fine. And ability's timed out. So what do we get there? We got 3, 6, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 models from it. Showing the, if you're in there the whole time. 420 manpower, munitions. Yeah, I mean, if you're reinforcing, like a higher reinforced cost unit, especially if you're not going for like infantry support center buffs, I could maybe see this getting some play again. The Armoured Battlegroup got a couple buffs. Fast Deploy has been buffed to 75% from 50%, and War Machine has come down in command point costs, going from 3 to 2. The Special Operations Battlegroup has received a few changes. First off, the Weasel with a flamethrower has been replaced by a Weasel with a pack howitzer. Weasel with a flamethrower didn't really see much play at all, especially because the flamethrower couldn't fire out of the Weasel. Didn't really make that much sense. So now, yeah, Weasel with a pack howie is in. 1 command point only to unlock, and they're quite cheap at 400 manpower. To buy this for Brits with no Weasel is 340. So you're getting a Weasel here for only 60 manpower. I know that this is tow-in instead of paradrop, but I mean, that's not worth, like, yeah, that's really cheap. On top of that, the command point timing, I think to get the pack howie as Brits, 2 command points for commandos, then 1 command point for the pack howie. So this arrives 2 command points earlier and got buffed this patch in terms of its like damage caps. So I think this is like really, really strong at 1 command point timing. Yeah, really, really good. It makes you feel sad if you're a British player for sure. Also, the smoke screen had immunity cost reduction. Same story with the rating flares, also a cost reduction. Feel like they didn't really need it though. I thought they were pretty good, you know, especially with that accuracy bonus. So a little bit strange that one, but alright, smoke screen, that's fine. That's all I have time for today. Unfortunately, I've run out of time. I have to do the other factions tomorrow, hopefully. But one thing I will say about the US Forces balance, you know, parting words, is that I'm very disappointed not to see the Infantry Support Center be addressed. Because from the games I play, the games I see, this has probably got like a 90% pick rate at the moment. And like, you know, serious games where people are actually trying to win, which is kind of a shame, you know. But it just offers you so much. First off, it comes with a free squad, the captain, you know, gives you great value. And then the manpower cost reductions from Advanced Logistics. In any game that goes like beyond 20 minutes, this just gives you such a huge advantage. Like, if you've got this bonus and your opponents don't, good luck to them, you know. Incredibly hard to beat these manpower cost reductions. So, yeah, I would like to see something done to address the overwhelming popularity of the Infantry Support Center. Try to bring these other two into the mix a bit more. If you enjoyed this video and want me to continue producing them, I hope you consider coming on board as a Patreon backer.